You may wonder what on earth I'm doing under the ocean. Well, I'm not actually under the ocean. I'm in one of the most intriguing exhibits in the Aquatic Marine Aquarium. This looks like it's filled with fish, and of course it is, and I'm not actually under the ocean. I'm in one of the intriguing exhibits in this amazing museum. So come with me as we explore the ins and outs and fascinating sidelights of the Aquatic Marine Aquarium. You'll find it mesmerizing. We're talking with Mike Schutt, the director of the Aquatic Marine Museum. And tell me, we're standing in what area now?
Right now, John, we're in the tide pool touch tank, one of our most popular exhibits.
I look down at these things and some of them look like they're, things that you buy in shops that are really fake, but are these real?
They're the real thing, and it's funny you should say that because a lot of our younger visitors come up and they just assume that they're models, and then we tell them that they're live animals and that they may touch them with one finger. That's to give someone the opportunity to get the experience of touching them and still protect the animals so that they're healthy.
You say that this is the touch tank area. When you get kids here, first of all, what sort of age are they and how do they feel about actually touching?
Well, we're about in a week to see 1,000 school kids a morning.
1,000?
1,000 a morning.
Whoa!
That's a lot of kids. But it's something we've been doing for many years. We do that for 9 weeks. It's called Spring Program. And so we see a lot of kids. When the kids come in the fall and they have the tide pool touch tank, they will come back and they could be preschool kids. So to answer your question, they could be that young. However, most of our kids are elementary school, kind of primary grades, K through 6th grade.
And they come here for what reason? Is it organized by the schools or do you invite them? How does that happen?
We have free tours that have been available for decades here at the Aquatic Marine Aquarium. And for the people that visit us, the teachers, many of them were children that visited themselves. So in that respect, they remember and they come back. And the reason they bring their kids here and the reason they came here originally was to learn more about Southern California ocean life.
When I look in here, I see if I look real hard, well, there's also fish here, right?
In the back part of the tide pool touch tank, this is the biggest aquarium we have in the Aquatic Aquarium. Because it's got a lot of water in it and it gives us an opportunity to keep some of our bigger fish. When they get too big for that back area, and they eventually do, then we donate them to other aquariums or we get permission from the Department of Fish and Game to be able to release them into the wild.
Mike, I sort of feel standing here, I'm standing in the middle or the bottom of the ocean.
That's good. That's the kind of effect we'd like to get for people that visit us.
What sort of fish are they?
Well, that's a sablefish, and that came to us as just a baby, and it's grown quite a bit. As would those kelp bass, or calico bass as they're called. And I'm also glad you brought up the coloration, John, because some of these animals are trying to blend into their environment for their own well-being.
Blend in because?
Maybe an animal might want to come and eat them, and if it's harder to find them, then that's better. So a sea lion might have a little harder time finding one of these kelp bass if they're near the kelp. However, you can find some other animals like this sheephead that's got a white chin and a black head and a band on it. That's a male sheephead, by the way, and they're advertising the fact that it's a big male, and they tend to get a little bigger so they don't have quite the same problem with predators.
You know, when I look at all the things that habitate this museum, I'm reminded of all the other maritime museums around the neighborhood here in the area. What do you think really makes you stand out or different, or what is your niche?
Well, here at the Armcabrillo Aquarium, first of all, if you notice when you came in, we have a recommended donation. What that means is that a family might come to the beach to enjoy the sand, find us, in other words, we weren't the reason they came to the beach today. Maybe they didn't bring a lot of money, maybe they don't have a lot of means, and so they can come in and they can learn about the ocean and it be a choice on their part. If you go to some of the other aquariums, they have a price, they have a fee, an admission fee, and that's what enables them to do their business, so obviously that's critical. But I think it takes a different frame of mind. For us, it literally is informal science education and free choice learning, because they may not always even come to us as the main choice.
And you guys have been here since?
1935. We celebrated our 75th anniversary last year in 2010.
For anyone who's watching and would like to give you, let's say, a sizable donation, are you looking to have an expansion or that kind of stuff?
We have a 5-year plan that includes going through the exhibit hall where we're standing right now, which includes this tank, and all the exhibits around it. And what we're going to do is we're going to update every single one of these exhibits in a 5-year period of time.
I see just standing behind us a, to me, rather intriguing exhibit. There are no animals in there, no fish, there's water, there's sand. I mean, what exactly is that?
You know, I'm glad you said that you didn't see any fish, because I think you and I ought to walk over there right now and take a look. As you look in this tank that we saw from the kelp room, John, and you really didn't see any animals, I'd like to point out that if you can see that, what looks like a rock, and it's suspiciously 2 of them side by side, that's the eyes of a flatfish, and it has covered itself, except for its eyes, with the sand that we have in this tank. Just behind it you can see another flatfish, which is not completely covered by the sand. You can see the eyes, and that's a young California halibut.
And they hide because?
Well, they don't want to get eaten. Again, sea lions and seals and bigger fish are looking for a meal, and by being hidden in the sand, it's less likely these animals will be preyed upon.
I'm certainly not a fisherman, but I've often wondered when I see people fishing from the pier, what is it like underneath there? What does it all look like? And I see a sign that says here, fishing pier, so tell us about this exhibit.
Well, as I mentioned before, our exhibits are important because so few people get a chance to see what it looks like under the ocean. I'm fortunate enough to be a scuba diver for a long time. I know what it looks like, and I have a lot of colleagues that know that too. So we've taken it to make sure that people that don't dive, which is the vast majority of people, get a chance to see what it looks like. This particular tank shows what it looks like under a fishing pier, and I think most fishermen would love to know this. And they might like these fish to be a little bigger too. These animals, we start them as very young ones. Many of them, I would say, 1/10 of the size you see right here. So they really were very, very tiny fish when we first got them. They have quintupled or more their size over the time that we've had them, and it's just been about almost a year.
Do you have a number of fish in here that I mean, does it become crowded at some point? Do you say no more fish in here?
We have professionals that work with us called aquarists, and we have a chief aquarist, and the chief aquarist works with his aquarist to determine whether it's too packed or not. And they look at a lot of different things. They look at the health of the fish. I think that anyone that would look at these fish, and you can see them nice and close, they look beautiful. There's none of them that look like they have frayed fins or look like they're in any kind of distress. Actually, they're all looking for food. We feed them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Those are the 3 days that we give all of our collection food. And that opportunity works out real well for these animals. They grow at the right level. They don't get too fat too quick, and we give them plenty of healthy food.
Well, what exactly is this?
John, these are moon jellyfish. And the moon jellyfish are common in bays and harbors all over the world. Naturally, we have them here in Southern California as well. All of the animals that you can see here at the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium have been raised here for the most part. We have a couple that we got and become breed stock for us, but for the most part they've been raised here at the aquarium. And these moon jellies really are intriguing, and we've heard that from our visitors as well. I think for most people, they look at these things and it's hard for them to understand that they're alive. People look at them and say, gosh, where's the head? And yet, I always tell them there's no brain, no heart, no lungs, obviously, no gills. These are very, very simple organisms that come from ancient organisms, one of the first living animals on the planet, and of 650 million years ago.
I think one of the most frightening and at the same time fascinating aspects of life under the ocean is that dreaded word, sharks. And I see that we have here a shark tank. Tell us a little bit about it.
You know, sharks are indeed something that people think about when they think about the ocean. I've asked kids many times, tell me about an ocean animal. Whales, dolphins, sharks always come up. So you're right, they really are fascinating. They catch our attention, they catch our imagination. I think part of it is that we're worried about some aspect where we might get eaten by a shark. That's probably a nightmare for many people. And yet the sharks we show here are very common in our environment. They're not going to be eating people. They look very sharky in the case of the leopard sharks. And the other ones that aren't moving around, you know, people come up to us all the time and tell us we have dead sharks in our shark tank.
But you know, when I look at them, I don't see those huge sort of, you know, that movie Jaws, I mean, that awful music and everything. They're just, they're little.
That's right. And some of them are young. Certainly the leopard sharks that are going around are young. They get to be about 6 feet or so, so these are young ones. The horn sharks and the swell sharks, which is a different kind of shark in here, that's about as big as they get. They get a little bigger than that. But none of these animals are going to cause any trouble like the Jaws shark.
But when they get big, I mean, this tank doesn't look big enough to hold them all. Do you then give them to another aquarium? How does that work out?
That's exactly what we do. First, we move them to our tide-filled touch tank where we have a bigger tank where they can get bigger and we can keep an eye on them a little longer. Then from there, we offer them to other aquariums. Many of them are happy to take off a few off our hands, if you will. And then we also ask for permission from the Department of Fish and Game, and then we release them.
We're standing in a room that has just about a bit of everything, and I suppose it's probably my British sense of humor. But, you know, we're not in a supermarket, are we? What is all this milk?
Well, that's a lot of milk, and yet it represents the amount of milk in one day that a baby whale needs to eat.
In one day?
In one day. And at my house, we have 1% fat milk. We're trying to watch our weight, and this is 50% fat milk coming out of the mother.
And the basic purpose of this whole room is what?
We want people to know how cetaceans, which includes whales and dolphins, how they live and how they live close to us. So not only do we have real impressive things for little kids, they drink milk, and for them to know that a baby whale has to drink all that milk, it's amazing. And we tell them that baby whales can put on 100 pounds a day by drinking that kind of milk. That's a full-grown human skeleton model, and you can see how big that is compared to the whale. You can also compare the bones, so you can see the rib cage is very similar, and yet our back legs, if you look on the whales and you see those 2 little bones just hanging down there, that's what's left of the legs of a whale. So the ancestors of whales slowly but surely lost that back end and included this huge tail that they move much better than.
We're standing beside what looks to me like hundreds of thousands of little flies or something, but what exactly is this? And yeah, what is it? What is this?
Well, this is a tank we call the Lookup Tank, John, and this is a place where people can actually crawl underneath and come up in that dome-shaped structure there.
And kids love it.
Kids love it. It's hard for the parents to get them out. And what they're really looking at is they're looking at all the little baby fish that are found naturally on kelp patties that are floating between here and Catalina Island.
And there's so many fish in here. I mean, what are you doing with them?
Well, we grow them up, just as we talked about in another tank that we saw where they started as babies with us. We will grow these guys up, and next year, about this time before we put the new batch in, these guys will probably be 4 or 5 times bigger than they are now. This is one of my favorite pictures, John, because it shows really all the habitats we interpret here at the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium. And right now we're in the Exploration Center where we're encouraging people to be naturalists, and naturalists go into habitats to environments where animals and people are. Well, if you go to the far left, you can see the rocky intertidal Palos Verde Peninsula, the beginning. As you come around, you can see Cabrillo Beach. By the way, that's a man-made beach. If we didn't add sand to that beach, it would not be there. It would be a big mud flat. Then what you can't see is that's really the beginning of the breakwater for the Los Angeles breakwater. And then when you come on the other side of the breakwater, this is the inner beach, which is a nice, quiet mother's beach, they refer to it, because it doesn't have many waves, and a lot of parents like to bring little kids there.
We're closing out our visit to the Cabrillo Marine Aquarium in what I can only describe to you as a sort of mad scientist's laboratory. What on earth is all this bubbling stuff behind us?
When we designed this room, it's called the Aquatic Nursery. We wanted to have some...
Nursery?
It's called the Aquatic Nursery. Okay. We wanted something that would draw someone's attention, because if you've got someone's attention, then there's stories that you tell that they're more likely to listen to. So this is a place where we grow young sea animals and young scientists.
You grow young scientists and animals?
We do. We have baby fish that we grow here. In fact, last year in 2010, the aquarium received an award, a national award from the Association of Zoos and Aquariums for raising baby Garibaldi from eggs here at the aquarium.
First of all, and finally, thank you very much, Mike, for giving us an absolutely fascinating tour of this wonderful, wonderful facility. And for people who are watching and wonder who've never been here, what would you say to them?
Come and learn about Southern California ocean life. These are animals and plants that share the same environment we all do, and the things that we do on the land can affect them directly. And it's important for people to hear those messages so that they can make wise decisions when it comes to deciding on how they want their world to be.
And if British people are noted for understatement, when you come down here, it is absolutely amazing, incredible, and fantastic.
Thank you very much, John.